What's up, coolers, and welcome back to Barca Dream Team. And today we're going to be discussing our thoughts on the second leg of Barca's Europa League fixture against Manchester United. We hope you'll subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're super excited about today's video, so let's get started.
But first, before we can discuss lineups, let's take a look at the fixture list for both teams. Now, Barca picked up 3 wins heading into that first leg, but an unexpected and overconfident team selection meant we have to head to Old Trafford with nothing to split the two sides. Now, the match against Cadiz finished 2-0, with the man of the match being Ferran Torres, who we'll discuss later on. And circle the date on your calendars. Barca will play United in the second leg on the 23rd of February in the decider. After that match, we have an away game at the newly promoted Almeria, so we should have absolutely no need to rest players against United. And following that match, we begin March with a tricky match against Real Madrid in the Copa del Rey before difficult La Liga fixtures against Valencia, Athletic Club and then Real again. For Manchester United, they remain unbeaten in February too. They convincingly beat Leicester City on the weekend, and United will have the chance to pick up some silverware with a cup final against Newcastle United and an FA Cup 5th round match against the Hammers. Those matches will be followed by fixtures against informed teams Liverpool, Southampton and Brighton. But now let's take a look at the lineups. The first leg saw a few surprises from Ten Hag, not in the terms of the personnel, but the shape and roles of the players. Rashford played as the centre-forward to avoid Ronald Araujo and Koundé and to focus his attack on Barca's left-hand side of Alonso and Jordi Alba. Sancho started on the left and Wout Weghorst dropped deeper into midfield, having a pretty quiet game for his standards. Luke Shaw wasn't too involved in the attacks on the left flank. He was playing centre-back, filling in for the suspended Lisandro Martinez. As for the second leg, I expect to see De Gea in goal, a back four of Shaw, Martinez, Varane and Wan-Bissaka. Fred or Sabitzer alongside Casemiro in the double pivot, and just behind Wout Weghorst will be Rashford, Fernandes and Antony, but depending on match fitness it could be Garnacho who starts instead of the Brazilian.
For Barca, Xavi will have a big headache when choosing his starting 11. He took a big risk by starting Alba and Alonso, which paid off when the latter scored the opener. However, Rashford's goal was mainly due to poor defending by the Spanish duo on the left-hand side. Sergio Busquets picked up that injury against Sevilla, putting him out of the first leg, but having returned to training this week, he's in contention to start after returning to the squad against Cadiz at the weekend. Ousmane Dembele still remains a doubt though. His hamstring injury against Girona means he'll miss a lot of matches in a busy period for Barca. And Pedri was subbed off at the 40-minute mark against United, picking up a muscular injury which is set to take him out of the action for up to 1 month. And that's a big loss, guys. Pedri's been instrumental in Barca's title charge, single-handedly winning us 10 points by scoring 5 winning goals. Just think about the impact he would have had alongside Gavi, but unfortunately neither will be available for that second leg. And I think with Bussy back in the squad, Dembele and Pedri will both be focusing on our El Clasico in March. That's a realistic target for them to try to return to fitness. After all, that will be a season-defining match after we lost the reverse fixture in the Bernabeu. Now, like I said, Gavi will also be out of the squad after picking up his 3rd yellow card in Europe. Those 2 yellows received in the Champions League carry over to the Europa League, plus the booking he received in the first leg against United means he'll be suspended for the away leg.
Now that means Ter Stegen will start in goal. Koundé and Araujo will stay in the team. They kept Jadon Sancho completely quiet in the first leg. Balde and Christensen must return to the lineup for this one to bolster the leaky left-hand side. De Jong will be beside Bussy in the base of midfield, providing our captain is match ready for this massive game. Ansu and Rafinha will flank the number 10, with Lewandowski leading the line up top. Now that leaves the number 10 position. We're not exactly blessed with options, but we could change our shape to suit the players we have available to us.
The first option would be to have a double pivot of Busquets and Sergio Roberto, leaving De Jong to play as the number 10 in the 4-2-3-1 system. Remember, Sergio Roberto had an excellent game against Cadiz at the weekend, scoring 1 and assisting Robert Lewandowski 2. However, I think it's too conservative to field 3 defensive midfielders in a must-win game. Option number 2, play Pablo Torre as the number 10. Now this seems to be a good idea on paper, but to just throw Pablo Torre into this massive game without much experience seems too big of a risk to take. Now the third option is a variation of a 4-4-2, and it's the 4-2-2-2 we've been used to seeing in recent weeks. Ferran Torres would start alongside Lewandowski, with both players playing as strikers. But now the final and most compelling option number 4, play Ferran as the second striker. What I like about this is that Ferran will play in the half space, in between United's midfield and defence. That causes a lot of confusion. Because if Varane steps out of defence to mark Ferran, a massive space opens up for Ansu Fati. And if Casemiro steps back to mark Ferran, space opens up for the midfield players. And we saw Mo Salah playing a similar role against Newcastle this weekend. If you're a fan of the Premier League, you would have seen Salah's assist for Cody Gakpo. I can really imagine Ferran playing in a similar role. You know, he's definitely capable of making those late runs into the box from that position, which just gives the wide men extra options to cross the ball.
And I think at this stage we have to admit that Ferran Torres isn't exactly a clinical striker. And in many ways he reminds me of Inter Milan's Lautaro Martinez, who struggles to play as that lone striker for Argentina. But at Inter he seems like a different animal. With a partner up front in Edin Dzeko, Lautaro feels more comfortable and less emphasis is placed on his lack of goal-scoring instinctiveness. And that's why I think Ferran just needs a little support. Imagine pairing him up front with Robert Lewandowski and what they could do together to dismantle Man United's defence. The link-up play would be incredible, and it would give an extra factor of unpredictability to make up for the absence of Pedri and Gavi. And so on to the prediction, guys, and we all say that Barcelona will win the match 2-1. It's a real shame that we don't have the lead to defend at Old Trafford, but Barca should be able to scrape a narrow victory despite United's injured players returning to fitness. So if you like this video, guys, and want to stay up to date with Xavi's Barca Dream Team, make sure to hit that notification bell, subscribe to BDT, and we'll see you next time. Visca el Barça!